So you got dressed this morning. You looked in the mirror and you thought, it's just fine, right? Not bad. I look okay, not great, but just fine. And maybe you had a feeling inside, right? You know it. It's that feeling that you could be doing a little bit more, but you're not. And it's probably been sitting with you for a while, but that's okay because I figured it out the hard way. And in this video, I'm going to walk you through the 5 things that you can easily start today. It's simple stuff. It's nothing crazy. And by the end, you'll know exactly which one to work on first. So let's go. Now, here's what I think is actually going on, right? Your taste has probably gotten better. Like, you know what looks good on you now, and maybe you've got an eye for it, but your habits haven't caught up yet, right? Like, you're still getting dressed the same way you did in your early 20s, right? You have the same instincts, maybe the same defaults, the same comfort ones that you fall back on, right? And that was fine. And back then, right? Because basically that's all you needed was something to fit. But you've moved on from that, right? From that version of your old self in basically every way. So the wardrobe that you have now just hasn't caught up yet, right? And that's the gap that we want to talk about. Now, there's a little bit of friction probably you have every morning, right? When nothing feels quite right. And that's just your style trying to catch up with who you actually are now. Now, the good news, it's not complicated to fix. So here's where I'd start. And number 1 is the fit. Now, this is the first thing, and I know you've probably heard this before, but stay with me for a second. So most guys think they're wearing things that fit, and they're not. Now, here's a quick way to check, right? When you put on your shirt, I want you to look at the shoulders, and if there's extra fabric there, like just hanging off you, that's not your size, right? That's just the size you've been buying. And I used to do this for years. Like, I just told myself, it's okay, baggy was comfortable, but it wasn't, right? I just wasn't paying attention. Now, here's the rule I use now. Like, if you wouldn't look at that shirt on someone else and say, man, I think that fits great, but it doesn't, like, the fix is easier than you think, right? If it's a button down shirt, just a trip to the tailor, right? You probably know one in your area, 15, 20 bucks, maybe take it to the tailor, take it to him and see what he says and let him do that. Because the thing with the fit, it's just with t-shirts, similar thing. If a $25 t-shirt fits right, it will look way better than the $150, $200 designer shirt that doesn't, right? Every single time. Now, here's the thing about it that no one talks about. When something actually fits, you carry yourself differently. Like, you feel good. You stop pulling at it. You stop adjusting it. You're just in your zone and you just move, right? And that's what people actually notice, right? And now that you've got the fit sorted out, we've talked about that. The next one is something that people check before almost anything else, and that's the shoes. So I want you to think about your shoe situation right now. Okay, be honest with yourself. Like, I know you probably have your gym ones, you got the beat up ones you wear around the house to cut the grass and whatever, right? Go to do the barbecue, and maybe you got a good pair, for somewhere. And you probably also have a shoe box up in the closet for your weddings that you go do sometimes. Now, the thing is, you only need one clean pair for summer, and that's it. And for summer, I'd suggest one clean white leather, low profile. Because what matters most is that they're not doubling as your gym shoes or your run around shoes or your do everything shoes, right? All at the same time, right? Like, I had an old pair of beaters and I still have them that I generally couldn't tell you what color they are when they were started. Like, I don't know if they were black and then now maybe they're gray and the sole's separating. And I used to wear them all the time just because they were comfortable. But the thing is, the day I finally retired those and I got one clean pair, right? If I took that same pair of jeans and the same shirt, it gives a completely different impression because shoes are the first thing people check, right? Guy or girls. And that's the last thing most guys think about, right? So again, we have fit, check. We have the shoes in check. Now, here's where a lot of guys get tripped up, but not you, right? And the third one is logos, right? The logo thing is killing you, right? And I'm saying that because I've been there, right? I know you have some stuff with a big chest logo across the chest or the back or the arms. And in our teens and our 20s, like, that made sense. right? The brand was kind of saying like, this is something for you, or you're trying to prove something, you're trying to show something, but you don't have to say that anymore, right? Because you can say it yourself, and you're past that now because you've got presence, you're more mature, you've got something to say, and you don't need the label or the logo to speak for you anymore, right? So the rule is simple, right? Let the outfit do the talking, not the logo. And that's the fit, right? So the swap is easy for this one. I want you to just reach for the plain version of whatever you'd normally grab, right? So whether that's a hoodie or a t-shirt, and you'll be surprised how much sharper that reads. Because when there's no logo, distracting logos to look at, like people can just focus on you and the way you put it together, right? And more importantly, they'll focus on you, and that's the goal. So what does that actually look like in real life? So, well, the combinations for this one is simple, and it actually works for almost anything and everything. And that's smart casual. And this is number 4. And it's not fancy, and smart casual doesn't have to be try hard. It just looks like you put some thought into it. And that's smart casual. And it's the most useful thing because as you get older, it can work for almost anything. And here's the formula, right? Simple chinos, nice color, straight leg pants, right? Not sweats, not track pants, right? And grab a fitted shirt or button down or a clean crew neck, and that's it. Pair that with a nice pair of shoes. And the goal is, right, when someone looks at you in that fit and that smart fit and they'll think that guy's got it together, right? Without thinking that he got all dressed up, but he's got it together. And it's the space between those two things. That's where you want to live, right? And here's why it matters, because that can actually work for a lot of different situations, right? Maybe you're in your in-office day at work, or God forbid a coffee date, right? Or maybe an easy dinner date, or maybe just a barbecue, right? When everyone else is showing up in those tired cargo shorts, right? Because this is one simple formula for a whole lot of different situations that you're going to come up against. Now you've got those 4 things working out. There's one more I want you to think about, and this is the one that kind of ties it all together. So this is about number 5 is dressing for who you are now. And this is a big one because, and it's the one I don't want you to skip, because at some point you got to look at your closet and ask yourself, does this stuff that's on the rack, that's on the shelf, that's on the, on the hanger, does it represent who I am now? Or is it just leftovers from a different version of me, right? So those cargo shorts that have been in rotation for the last few years, a decade, the overstuffed shirts, t-shirts, sweatshirts, that kind of thing from a different time, right? The athletic wear somehow almost became your full personality, right? Now, none of that's bad on its own, but if it's been your default for years and years up until now, you got to move on, right? Without actually having to think about it. So that's worth a second look. So I want you to, and I'm not saying you don't have to break the bank and go get a whole new wardrobe, but I'm saying you need to make a decision because you didn't get here overnight, right? You just hit a point where you said, right, this is who I am now, and my clothes need to start matching that. So start slowly because your clothes are sending a message, right? Whether you intend it or not, we got to face reality. The only question is the message you're sending out accurate? So here's the thing. This isn't about you becoming some fashion guy, right? You don't have to do that. This is just about you thinking about your outer appearance and how, does it match your inside, right? Because you're not the same guy you were in your 20s, right? And your wardrobe can still catch up, and it doesn't take much, right? So here's what I want you to do now. I want you to open up your closet, right? And just pick one thing, right? It doesn't have to be a whole shelf or a whole rack. Just pick some things that are from the older version of you, right? That are a little bit worn out, a little bit tired, that doesn't really represent who you are now, and go through those things and get rid of them and start moving on. So if this hit home for you and this is something that you're thinking about, let me know in the comments below which item you're trying to get rid of or that you're going to move on from. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.